the language, and then that would enable you to speak. Because before we speak, we have to build our own sentences, and we have to know how to put words together. So when you go through this graded readers, you will see numerous examples of how sentences are built, and going through these examples will help you build your own sentences. So the first thing, it's on page 5, where it starts Fernando amigo, and amigo means friend in Spanish. So the guy starting a letter where he says Fernando amigo. Now in Spanish there are three types of verbs: hablar, which means to speak, and comer, which means to eat, and escribir, which means to write. So these verbs are classified according to the ending. So for instance, the verbs that end with a are called first conjugation. The verbs that end with are called second conjugation, and the verbs that end with are called third conjugation. And we use these graded readers with the Essential Spanish Grammar by Seymour Resnick. So hopefully you have a copy of it. And if you look at page number 26 of the grammar book, you would see how these verbs are conjugated. So for instance, if you change hablar to uh, hablo, so if you say hablo, that becomes I speak. So in Spanish, the endings tell you what the person is. So for instance, if you change comer to como, that would mean I eat. And likewise, if you change escribir to escribo, that becomes I write. So hablo, como, escribo. Likewise, if you say habla, he speaks, hablamos. So we'll be dealing with one conjugation at a time. So if you notice that the first letters of these verbs remain the same, only the ending is changing to hablo. So these verbs are called regular verbs. However, there are some verbs which are irregular. For instance, if you have this verb saber, saber means to know. Now, if you change it to say, that becomes I know. So when you want to say I know, you would not say sabo, you would say se. And now if you look at this sentence, when you say no sé, so it becomes I don't know. So no sé becomes I don't know, and then this word como, that means how. You must have heard people say como estás, how are you? And como means how, and this word empezar, empezar means to begin. Now, if you say no sé cómo empezar, that becomes I don't know how to begin. So if you take this part, no sé cómo, that would mean I don't know how. Like let's say you say no sé cómo nadar. No sé cómo nadar. I don't know how something. And if you look, nadar means to swim. So now you have this sentence, I don't know how to swim. So if you use no sé cómo with any verb, and you can build a sentence. The thing with the real conversation is that you do not know what you'll have to say, and real conversations are unpredictable. So this will prepare you to say almost anything. And since you take another verb, no sé cómo cocinar. Now this word cocinar means to cook. So this becomes I don't know how to cook. So now we move on to the next sentence, which when you use this word para means for. And me is me. So when you say para mí, it becomes for me. Es means it is. It is. It is the conjugation of the verb ser, which means to be. So for instance, if you say soy, that means I am. I am. And when you say son, that means they are, or you are. Or if you say somos, that means we are. This is given on the page 32. So from we have to know from the context that whether to use S as he is, she is, it is. So if you look at the next word, which is fácil, which means easy. So when you say es fácil, it becomes it is easy. Es fácil means it is easy. But when you say no es fácil, it means it is not easy. So no es fácil would be it is not easy. So if you look at the whole sentence, para mí no es fácil, for me it is not easy. And we have this verb escribir means to write. So it says para mí no es fácil escribir. For me it is not easy to write. And esta means this. And carta means letter. So this is from para mí no es fácil escribir esta carta, which means for me it is not easy to write esta carta, this letter. Now we move on to like the next word, which is pero, means but. Now in Spanish, there's like other word poder, which means to be able to. And if you change poder to puedo, that becomes I am able to, or I can. Like for instance, if you say puedo trabajar, that will become I can work. Puedo trabajar means I can work. So if you put no, if you say no puedo trabajar, that would become I cannot work. So no puedo trabajar would become I cannot work. Now if you look at this word así, which means like this. Así means like this. So if I say no puedo trabajar así. Now this sentence would become I cannot work like this. So no puedo trabajar means I cannot work like this. And here we have this verb seguir, which means to continue. So now when you have U between G and I, the sound goes directly to I. So it becomes seguir, which means to continue. So this sentence, pero no puedo seguir así, would mean, but I cannot continue like this. Oh, I'm sorry, like this. Pero no puedo seguir así, so I cannot continue like this. So if you go back, which says, no sé cómo empezar, I don't know how to begin. Para mí no es fácil escribir esta carta, pero no puedo seguir así, but I cannot continue like this. Now we move on to the next sentence, which says, te estoy escribiendo desde una fría habitación de hotel. So we see this escribir, we have seen this verb escribir. Escribir means to write. So if we change escribir to escribiendo, that would become writing. So this is a progressive tense. Now, if you look on page 33 of the grammar book, you will see that it's they use example word. I think it's like comprar, and then it's comprando. So comprar becomes comprando, and llover, which means to rain, it becomes lloviendo, and sufrir becomes sufriendo. So yendo for er and ir verb, and ando for ar verb. So that has the same effect as ing. So in English, you express progressive tense as ing, like swimming, dancing, eating. So now this word estoy, that means I am. So there are two types of so I am. Like when you say soy, that also means like I am, and that comes from the verb ser, which means to be. And estoy also means I am, and it comes from the verb estar, which means to be. The difference between those two is like for estar you use for states and location, and ser use for everything else or anything that is permanent. For instance, if you say estoy cansado, cansado means tired, so which means like I am tired. But if someone's name is John, it would say soy John, because name is permanent, and being tired is a state version of to be, which is estar. So estoy means I am. So if you combine estoy escribiendo, that means I am writing. So estoy escribiendo means I am writing. Now, one other difference between Spanish and English is the word order. So this te is an object pronoun, which means you. Like for instance, you have this verb ver means to see. So when you say veo, that means I see. But if you say te veo, it becomes I see you. So te veo is I see. You see the te, it comes in front of veo. Yeah, it comes before veo. So I see you. So te estoy escribiendo viendo would become you I am writing. It says you I am writing, which means that I'm writing you. Oh, sorry, I misspelled. That's writing. It's like writing. So te estoy escribiendo would be I'm writing you. And now we see desde means from. The more challenging part is to process the verb. Once you have processed the verb, like according to the person, then the rest is easy as one-to-one correspondence. So desde means from, and una fría means a cold. So una is it's an indefinite article. And if you look at the grammar book, it's on page 15. It is using an example, un traje, a suit, un edificio, a building, that's masculine, and then una playa, a beach, una luz, a light. So it's on page 15, and you will see una. Una fría is a cold, and habitación means room. So it says, te estoy escribiendo desde una fría habitación. De is of, And hotel, that's a cognate, which is the same as hotel. The H is silent, so it would be hotel. Okay, so un hotel, and this word barato, so barato means cheap. So un hotel barato would be a cheap hotel en una calle. So en means in, and una calle, street. En una calle, and this word perdida means lost. So un hotel barato en una calle perdida, a cheap hotel in a lost street. En un pueblo means in a town. In a town, and gris means gray. En un pueblo gris, in a town gray. It's used also in a sense of dull, depressing. En un pueblo gris, in a dull, depressing town. Then he says, no sé. Again, we have this no sé, which means I don't know. So sé comes from saber, to know. And when you say sé, it's like I know. I don't know. Desde means since. Cuando means when. So I don't know since when. And vivir means to live. So when you change it to vivo, that becomes I live, or can also be I am living. So it says, no sé desde cuando vivo aquí, which means I don't know since when I'm living here. So, in other words, what he's trying to say, I don't know how long I've been living here. So, no sé desde cuando vivo aquí. I don't know since when I'm living here. So now there's like another verb, I, which means there is or there are. Now, if you look at page 58 of the grammar book, it would tell you that that I can mean there is, there are. It also gives you some examples. If you look at page 58 of the grammar book, it says I translates there is, there are, and the example displays hay mucha turistas este año. There are many tourists this year. So this is how like this word I can be used. Now, cosa means thing. Now, if you add cosas, just like in English, if you add an S, it becomes things. So I, and then tantas means so many. Hay tantas cosas, which means there are so many things. Que means that. And this word entender means to understand. So entender means to understand. Now, if you change it to entiendo, that means I understand. So, no sé desde cuándo vivo aquí. Hay tantas cosas. There are so many things that que means that no entiendo, that I do not understand. So I don't know since when I'm living here, there's so many things that I do not understand. Now we move on to the next, the third paragraph. Desde mi ventana. Now, mi ventana my window. So desde mi ventana means from my window. And this word ver means to see. And when you say veo, that means I see. He says, desde mi ventana veo, from my window I see. And jugar means playing. So it becomes from my window I see playing. Unos niños. Unos niños means some children. So the N has like a tilde, which is like a canyon sound in the book. I mean, it's not in the chat for some reason. So from my window, I see playing some children en el parque. En el parque means in the park. So it says, from my window, I see playing some children in the park. Que means that. I means there is, that there is. That there is. Delante. Delante means in front. So from my window, I see playing some children in the park that there is in front. And del hotel means of the hotel. So from my window, I see playing some children in the park that there is in front of the hotel. So when it's translated into English, it may not sound perfect. But the thing is that as you keep on relating words to the meaning, the Spanish itself will become more meaningful, and then you would not need to translate. So, but you have to know what the word means, so that you have to translate in the beginning. So desde mi ventana veo jugar a unos niños en el parque que hay delante del hotel. From my window, I see playing some children in the park that there is in front of the hotel. Then it says, los niños corren. So los niños means the children. Los niños. Niños means the children. Los niños means the children. Correr means to run. Los niños corren, the children run. Or the children are running, it can be used in both senses. Los niños corren, the children are running or run. Entre. Entre means between. Los niños corren entre, between, and los árboles means the trees. Los niños corren entre los árboles. The children are running between los árboles, the trees. Amarillos. Amarillos means yellow. The children are running between the yellow trees. Trees yellow, like in Spanish, the adjective would come after the noun. Like, for instance, you have this word Casa Blanca. Blanca means white. So in English, you have white before the house, or in front of the house. So Casa Blanca, you see the white comes first and then the house. But in Spanish, the house comes first and then white, Blanca. So los niños corren entre los árboles amarillos. Children are running between the yellow trees. Se ríen. Now, in Spanish, there are some verbs. So, for instance, reír means to laugh. And when you all say reír se, it also means to laugh. The suffix se indicates it's a reflexive verb, that you're not acting directly on an object. You're laughing, and this action is contained within yourself. So that's why you have this "se" as a suffix. So it may look a little redundant, but I'll give you an example. Like for in English, you say behave, behave, or you can also say behave yourself. So it's kind of like an optional if you put yourself, but that indicates that this is something that the action is contained by the doer. Like the so so you'll learn more about reflexive verb. It takes a while before you get an idea of like how to use reflexive verb, but right now it's enough to know that it is accompanied by a suffix se. In English, the reflexive is not used that much, but in Spanish or German and other languages, it's used quite frequent. So serien comes they are laughing. Serien means they are laughing. The children are running between the yellow trees. They are laughing. Parecer means to seem or to appear. So parecen means they appear or they seem. So the ending ends and tells you that it is they. They seem parecen contentos. Contentos means happy. So parecen contentos means they seem happy. Then it says ahora. Ahora means now. Esta means it is. Now it is. Empezando, beginning. Now it is beginning. A llover means to rain. Ahora está empezando a llover. Now it is beginning to rain. So whenever you use this verb empezar, it is accompanied by an a. When you say empiezo a comer, it means I begin to eat. So whenever you see empezar, you would see a. This is usually called like a structural a. So it says ahora está empezando a llover. Now it is beginning to rain. And now he describes the rain. It says es una lluvia. S means it is. Una lluvia means a rain. It is. Oh, yeah, it is a rain. De otoño. De is of, and otoño is autumn. Of autumn. It's a rain of autumn. Fría y triste. Fría means cold. Cold, and triste means sad. Oh, sad, my bad. And this word Y that pronounces E is pronounced as two E's and means like and. So es una lluvia de otoño fría y triste. It's a rain of autumn, cold and sad. Yeah. No sé qué día es hoy. So again, we have this word no sé, which means I don't know. So no sé is I don't know. Que means what? Que means what? And día is de. So no sé qué día I don't know what day. S means it is, and hoy means today. So it says no sé qué día es hoy. I don't know what day it is today. So this is a useful structure. So when you say no sé qué comer, like, so when, for instance, if you want to say I don't know what, and comer means to eat. So this is how you would say no sé qué comer. I don't know what to eat. Or no sé qué día es hoy. I don't know what day it is today. No sé qué hora es. No sé, I don't know what. Hora es is like what they use this expression as what time it is. I don't know what hour it is. No sé qué hora es. So no sé qué, qué hora es means I don't know what time it is. So no sé qué hora es. I don't know what time it is. No hay relojes. Now this word reloj, that means clock, or it can also mean watch. So when you say relojes, for instance, it becomes watches or clocks. Clocks, yeah. So it says no hay. So we saw this I means there are or there is. So no hay relojes would become there are no clocks para un hombre. Para let me write this one down. So no hay relojes. No hay relojes means there are no clocks. Para un hombre. Para un hombre means for a man. So no hay relojes. There are no clocks. Para un hombre, for a man, tan perdido como yo. No, perdido. Oh, perdido means lost. And tan means like so. So become no hay relojes para un hombre. There are no clocks for a man. So perdido is lost. So lost como yo. Como yo as I. So there are no clocks for a man so lost as I. Like there are no clocks for a man as lost as I. Then it says tú is you. Tú is you, and conocer means to know. So when you change it to conoces, it becomes you know. Now tú conoces also mean you know, except that this tú indicates that there is a stress on you. So you know. So if you put like an object pronoun me, so tú me conoces, become you know me, you know me. And this word bien means well. So tú me conoces bien, you know me well, Fernando. Now, eres is also a conjugation of the verb ser, which means to be. So when you change it to eres, it's an irregular verb. It becomes you are. You are. And amigo again is like friend. And when you say mi mejor amigo, so my best friend. So, eres mi mejor amigo becomes you are my best friend. Yeah. So, okay, so the next sentence we have is créeme ahora. So, for instance, when you have this verb dar, which means to give. So if you change it to da, that becomes give. So when you say dame, give me, the command form. So likewise, we have this verb creer, which means to believe, to believe. So if you look at the graded reader, it says créeme. So créeme would become believe me. So créeme is believe me, and ahora means now. So this would become créeme ahora, believe me now. Estoy, and estoy means I am. Estoy, I am. En peligro means in danger. So estoy en peligro means I am in danger. No salgo a la calle. So this comes from this verb salir, which means to go out. Now, if you look at page number 29, if you look at page number 29, you see this verb salir, which means to leave, to go out. So when you say salgo, it means I go out. Salgo is I go out. So no salgo a la calle means to the street. So no salgo a la calle, I do not go out to the street. No veo a nadie. No veo, and veo is I see. So no veo means I don't see. And nadie is nobody. So no veo a nadie, and this a here is like a personal a. So whenever the object of a verb is a human, you need to have this a. So no veo a nadie, I don't see nobody. Like for instance, if you say veo una puerta, means I see a door. So when you say veo a una mujer, which means I see a woman. So you have to put an a. Like for instance, if you say veo a Miguel, so Miguel being a human, so you have to put an a. So no salgo a la calle, I don't go out to the street. No veo a nadie, I don't see nobody. Solo means only, and hablo is I speak. Solo hablo, only I speak. Con means with, and el camarero means the waiter. So solo hablo con el camarero del hotel. So de plus el, that's also like a Spanish contraction, which means of the and becomes del. It's on page 24 of the grammar book. So like for instance, if you look at page 24 of the Mercado del Pueblo, we are going to the market of the town. We are going to the town market. And okay. So hablo con el camarero. Only I speak with the waiter of the hotel. So el, that means he. You know that the difference between if you see L, that means the masculine. The difference is like there's an accent over E. And if you look on the grammar book on page number 20, you will see this how they talk about the pronouns you, L, he, a. Yeah. So so L and Bahar means to go down. So El baja means he goes down. Todos los días means all the days. So él baja todos los días. He goes down all the days. And this A, L is like A plus L. That becomes L. He goes down all the days. Al to the, and bar is a bar. He goes down all the days. This A plus L translates into to the, and it becomes L. Bar is a bar. And de is of, and la esquina means the corner. So he goes down all the days. Al bar de la esquina means to the bar of the corner. Y me compra. Now this word comprar means to buy. When you say me compra, like he buys me. So me compra, he buys me. Cigarrillos. Cigarrillos. Cigarrillos mean cigarettes. So El baja. So he goes down all the days to the bar of the corner. Y me compra, he buys me. Cigarrillos is cigarettes. Estoy fumando. Then again, this word fumar means to smoke. So when you change it to fumando, that would become smoking. So estoy fumando, I am smoking. Demasiado is too much. Estoy fumando demasiado is I'm smoking too much. So demasiado is too much. Estoy fumando demasiado, I'm smoking too much. Nadie sabe. So when you say nadie sabe means nobody knows. So nadie sabe is nobody knows. Donde means where. Where. And estoy is I am. So nadie sabe donde estoy. Nobody knows where I am. Y tú, E again, like this pronounces two E's. It is like pronounces two E's and it means and. So, nadie sabe dónde estoy. Nobody knows where I am. Y tú and you. No, deber means must. Deber means must. Y tú, and no debes. Y tú no debes is you must not. Y tú no debes and you must not buscar. Buscar means to look for. Now, this buscar means to look for. This is the root verb. It's like non-conjugated form. And you can always put a root verb next to, or you can always add an object pronoun, which we have added may. So it become look for me. So it says, nadie sabe dónde estoy y tú no debes buscarme. So nobody knows where I am and you must not look for me. Then it says, no puedo volver. Now again, this word poder means can or to be able to. And when you say no puedo means I cannot. No puedo means I cannot. And return. So no puedo volver would be I cannot return. Es imposible. It is impossible. No, no puedo volver. I cannot return. I am. Perdido means lost. I am lost. En el negro bosque. En means in. Negro bosque means the black forest. Estoy perdido en el negro bosque de mis sueños. De mis sueños means of my dreams. This is kind of like a strange sentence, but he says, estoy perdido en el negro bosque de mis sueños. I'm lost in the black forest of my dreams.